Witch, and today I'm going to talk to you about traditional witchcraft and the tools that are associated with the craft, and I'll be showing you some of the tools that I use later on. So witchcraft was sometimes known as wisecraft to a lot of people. They were sometimes known as cunning folk. There used to be men and women that practiced the craft. They were known to cure all sorts of ailments, skin conditions, and they used to be able to use things just out of the hedgerow or in nature. People used to go to the local wise woman to maybe have their tarot cards read to predict the future. There was all sorts of divination the witch used to perform, like crystal ball, maybe read the runes, maybe scrying, but we'll come into those things a bit later on because they're not all traditional witchcraft. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the tools we use in witchcraft. Alright, the knife is usually used to cast the circle. You always cast a circle, whether you're doing just a spell, if you're doing any divination work, it's always good idea. You need to connect with the spirits, and the knife can be used in any sort of ceremonial, like cord cutting, spells that need cord cutting. You could use it just to chop herbs with. But knives have always been associated with magic all the way back to ancient times. The knife defends the witch, so it can command spirits and it can exorcise demons. My wand, I think, is a piece of larch, as I found this walking in the woods one day. It just fell out of a tree into my path. So in my way of thinking, it chose me. I didn't choose it. So that's why it is quite plain, but you can decorate wands however you want. You can be elaborate as you like, but I just like the nice simple look. So another witch's tool that they would have used back in the olden days was a staff or a stang, which is basically a forked stick. Basically stangs can come all different like shapes, sizes really. This is mine, it's usually about 4 foot, normal one, and then you can obviously decorate it with however you want. Mine's wood burnt because that's what I do, and then you can attach anything that you want to put on, feathers, anything. This is actually made of hazel, basically because I do like hazel, and you do usually get a nice straight piece of hazel, so it is ideal for it. But this changed from a staff to the broomstick, because back in the day, the broomstick, which is again you can make yourself, we've just put in the twigs on the bottom, because basically that's what it was. It was a staff that they'd put twigs on, because back in the day people were persecuted obviously for being witches, so it was another way of just hiding that you was a witch. Because if you got a stang outside your house and they seen it, they'd be there looking for you, trying to try you for witchcraft. Right, the cauldron, right, this is actually the female part, as say like the stang or the broomstick is classed as the male. This is the female. You can, yeah, as I said before, you can have a large cauldron or a small one depending on what you're going to be using it for. This is basically sits on the altar and you can burn all your incense in there that you're going to have to use for a spell. You can have one as big that you can put over a bonfire and cook a meal out of it, or you can do it a simmer pot or whatever, but we can always look at that a bit later on. But the cauldron is very important because it uses all of the elements. You need water, obviously, to fill it, and then the fire to heat it, and then you pour any herbs or vegetables or whatever in it from the earth, so that's the earth element. And then obviously as you cook it all up, it comes out into the air, the aroma, so it does actually cover all the 4 elements. That's why it's very symbolic. As you can probably tell, this was my first time at trying to make a video, so hopefully you'll come back and I will improve as I go along. But if you did enjoy it and like to see more of what I do, please like and subscribe and tell all your friends. Thanks.